Hey guys, Monke AU here with another video, and today we're going to be looking at my UFC 307 predictions. Now, first fight, this isn't on the main card, this is a prelim, but it's a shame because it is main card worthy. Wonderboy versus Joaquin Buckley. I predict Buckley to win this by decision because I think what it comes down to is these guys are going to negate each other in terms of striking, right? The real element comes down to the wrestling. And Buckley's been in on a bit of a tear recently. He defeated the Uzbekistan guy a while ago. And, you know, not to go off stereotypes, but if anyone can out wrestle and go to a decision with one of those guys from the Caucasus and Central Asia, then their wrestling is up to par. And I just don't think that Wonderboy's wrestling is necessarily going to be enough to negate Buckley's. So we also have to consider that because he's going to have the better wrestling, he's probably also going to have the better ground and pound. And he's probably just going to outpoint him to a decision. This is 3 rounds. It's a real shame. I think Wonderboy's chance to victory, honestly, is going to be stuffing takedowns and probably outpiecing him. I doubt he knocks out Buckley, but it is possible. It is possible. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's either going to be Buckley by decision or Wonderboy knockout, because Joaquin is historically, he's a little chinny when he comes to these long, powerful guys. Like, I mean, he got brutally knocked out by Kevin Holland. And I think Wonderboy definitely has the striking. He's got better striking than Kevin Holland, so if anyone's going to do it, it would be Wonderboy. So instead, I think the safe choice would be Buckley by decision. Next fight, Kevin Holland versus Roman Dolidze. Now, this is at middleweight, so Kevin Holland is going up, and I predict Holland to win this by decision. I think his wrestling is good enough to negate whatever Dolidze goes for. And better yet, if Dolidze shoots for a takedown, put your house on Kevin Holland going for a Darce choke. Seriously, this guy is very, very good when it comes to submissions. His striking is pretty good as well. It's only slightly gotten worse because of the MVP fight where, you know, he was pretty clearly outstruck, but that's because he was going against MVP, who's one of the greatest strikers in the UFC. So there's no shame in getting outstruck by one of the greatest strikers. Still, I think Kevin Holland is going to be able to, he's going to negate whatever Roman throws at him. And frankly, if it's not going to be a by decision, which is the safe choice, I'd probably go by submission. The only way Dolidze, in my opinion, could win is if he just outpoints him and wrestles him to a decision. But I don't think this is going to happen. So I'm going with Kevin Holland by decision. Next fight, Kayla Harrison versus Ketlin Vieira. Now, I don't really follow women's MMA that much, but I do know that Kayla Harrison is a dog. She beat Holly Holm, I think, at 300, and I'm pretty sure the odds for this are something ridiculous. It's like 6-1, maybe even 7-1, who knows. So put your money on Harrison by KO. She's got hands, and she struggles to make bantamweight as a women's MMA fighter, which, at least by the UFC standards, is pretty unusual. Usually the women are pretty comfortably in bantamweight, featherweight, strawweight. Kayla Harrison, it may as well be a featherweight, right? So you got the strength, clearly. I mean, just look at the photos. She's got the strength, and she's got very impressive hands, and her striking, I think the stats were something ridiculous. Like, she averages 8 strikes a minute, which is very, very impressive, especially considering Ketlin, who's just not up there. So I really don't see a way Ketlin's going to win this. Next fight, Jose Aldo versus Mario Batista. Now, this one I was going a lot back and forth on. Originally, I said Mario Batista by decision, but I think Jose Aldo is coming on a bit of a resurgence, you know? Even though he's only had 1 win at 301, I think he's going to have the skill and the experience necessary to take Batista down, you know? And also, I really hope that Jose does get this win, because then he can start booking some legacy fights, like they could do him versus Dominic Cruz if he wanted to come back. They could do him versus Cejudo, which was meant to happen back in the day, but never happened. Still, I just don't think Batista will necessarily. I think it's going to be a decision. I don't think anyone's getting knocked out. I don't think anyone's getting submitted. I don't think this fight's going to be anything special necessarily. I think the biggest highlight of this fight is going to be the fact that people realize that Aldo is just not out yet. He's still got more to give to the sport, and it's great to see. It's great to see a legend of the sport always keep going. And because of that, I think he's going to have the additional skill and the additional heart necessary to win this fight against Bautista. Because, no offense, it's not like Bautista's a killer, right? He's not going up against a Marab, a Piotr Jan, Volk, or Holloway. Like, from what I've seen, Mario Batista is just like one of these regular bantamweights. So still, I think Jose Aldo is going to win this fight. Co-main event, Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena. I'm going to predict Pennington by stinky decision. And I say this because from what I've read, apparently Pena had a massive upset against Nunes back in the day. And it was an upset, not in like a Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya domination upset, but like just a fluke, frankly. And apparently she got like 3 10-8 rounds against her in the rematch. So I don't know if she's all that necessarily. And Raquel Pennington, I'll be real, when this fight was happening at 297, I was watching with my friends and we just turned it off because it's whatever. So I really haven't given much thought to this. I'm just going to go Pennington by decision. Anyway, main event, Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. Now, Pereira is the massive favorite in this fight, and for understandable reasons. And everyone's saying you can't count out Khalil, but let's be honest, Alex is probably going to fight smarter than Khalil. And if Khalil doesn't fight aggressively, which would be the smart thing to do, he's still probably going to get knocked out because Pereira's gas tank would definitely be better than Khalil's. His wrestling is probably better than Khalil's. And even though we've never seen it, his submission game is probably better than Khalil's. So because of that, unless Pereira gets absolutely flukes and randomly catches a left hook, I seriously doubt he's going to lose this fight. And I think if there was ever a confident choice for this fight, it would be Pereira by KO. Because let's be honest, there's no way this goes to decision. And it's highly, highly, highly unlikely this gets a submission. So because of that, I'm going to say Pereira by KO. And frankly, I really hope he does get the KO, because if he somehow loses to Roundtree, that's going to really, really set back Pereira's career to the point where unless he gets an immediate rematch, he should probably call it quits. He's 38. Well, I mean, this fight's like so artificial. The only reason this fight is happening is because they wanted to give Pereira an arguably easy matchup, which is contentious because there's always never an easy matchup. But they want to keep Pereira open for big fights like him versus Dricus, him versus Aspinall, him versus John Jones, which will never happen because John Jones ducks people. And frankly, if none of those fights happen, I do want to see Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. Yeah, I really don't think there's much to say about this fight other than they're both great guys. But let's be realistic, Pereira's probably going to knock this guy out in spectacular fashion. The only way Khalil is going to win this is by fluke, and it's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. Because of that, I'm going to go Pereira. Sharma, like, what more is there to say? This is an obvious choice. So yeah, that just about does it for my 307 predictions. Make sure to leave a comment below. Do you guys think I'm right with these picks? Do you think I'm wrong? Also throw down some video ideas. And yeah, guys, build a community. I love to interact with the people who comment. Even if you got some bad opinions, I love to interact with you guys. So yeah, make sure to do all that, leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.